Welcome Virgo, this is Regina from Pacific Tarot getting ready to do your November reading. I've laid out the African Tarot. I will clarify with a Crow Tarot and finish off with a couple of Oracle cards. If you're enjoying this reading, if you find it useful or entertaining, please like this video. Share this video with others who might find it useful and comment below. I enjoy reading your comments. I love your thoughts. And subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. Let's get started with your overall energy for November. The Ten of Wands. Virgo, you're letting go of a lot of obligations, tasks, responsibilities for the care of others. You may be finishing up a project. You may be finishing up a kind of employment or a considerable contract that you've been working on for some time. This particular obligation or set of responsibilities has been burdensome for a long time. It may be draining you of physical energy. You may have recognized that the family, collective, employment that you're doing this for does not have an expectation of return, reward, or recognition for you in exchange for your phenomenal labor on this project or for this way that you have been taking care of or providing for others. You're really understanding that your values are no longer resonant. Not that they need to be completely resonant, but there's some significant shift in the way that you're recognizing what would be of service to you, the responsibilities or tasks, projects that reflect your desires, your needs, your interests, and you're now in a position of wrapping up those obligations because you take pride in completing a job well, and you are really allowing yourself to release those in order to make way for new ideas and projects you have. But those new projects are not ones that can coexist or compete with the responsibilities that you're now releasing. This is really about a transition. You're moving from an old way of doing things, an old set of expectations about the way things were to be done, to something that, again, is reflecting your desires, your interests. The position of the moon, we have the Queen of Pentacles. This is interesting because this particular position is really resonating with the recent lunar eclipse that we had. And that lunar eclipse was very much in the area of the way that you disseminate your knowledge or information, the way that you share resources or what you're learning or teaching with others. And the Queen of Pentacles is indicating that you have been eternally resourceful. This even feels like an executive or administrative role that you played in a particular organization, for example, in which you held and parlayed all of the information to the various places. You sorted everything and made it work. You actually grew it, developed it, grounded it, and made it something lasting and phenomenal. So this can be about a particular role you played. This can be a consulting gig. This can be a side hustle. This can be one of the many tenets of your responsibilities in your employment or through your employment. So that this could be the publishing of a newsletter or of a journal or an editing capacity that you have in a way. These things are all coming through around publishing, but it can also relate to the way that travel is organized. You may be looking at organizing travel conferences that occur at a variety of locations, or the way that conversations, dialogues, or informational training is being convened in different locations, is being disseminated, and certainly the use of technology is relevant to this. So you are grounding, you are the resourceful hub around which these activities are occurring, and that these activities have prospered, have grown, have become permanent, have become excellent. You've elevated the quality of this information that you're sharing. In the position of the sun, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So we are absolutely not only seeing another 10, but we're talking about legacy here. I see you shifting in a place where you have been perhaps working for one kind of a philanthropic or philanthropic effort, an educational effort, a charitable effort, a way of distributing information or ideas, to a way of creating a resource for the ongoing access, the amplification of resources, growth, prosperity, all as the result of something that you realize you have inherited, you have benefited from. This can be on a personal level, this can be a personal inheritance or financial largesse that you are translating into something that can serve others or be a resource for others. And this can also be a cultural heritage, ancestral heritage that you have benefited from via the efforts others made on your behalf so that you could have the opportunities that you have, that they could only have imagined. This same sense of cultural legacy is being promoted by you, amplified by anchoring this in some kind of physical organization or resource so that others can benefit. And this is the kind of resource that regenerates its own abundance, so that the more people that have access to these resources, the more this legacy or this philanthropy grows. In the present, the 2 of Swords. And so I'm literally feeling like you're making a decision between perhaps the way to go, or you're having to look at some very difficult truths about your own experience, your own understanding or honesty with yourself about the direction this can go. I'm almost sensing that there is a need for you to interrogate, or your energies are being pulled in these 2 different directions, between this old way of contributing to a greater tradition of abundance, new ideas, and a way that you would like to cultivate and honor an ancestral or cultural tradition, legacy that you perceive that you can contribute uniquely to. And this is pulling at you for some reason, some very personal, intimate reason. You're feeling a sense, perhaps the ongoing sense of being torn away from your personal life because of the demands of both of these kinds of efforts. That's one of the decisions that you could be contemplating as you are, rather than winding down from one effort that you have engaged for a long time, instead of releasing that and maybe retiring or shifting to lesser of a public or institutional presence to actually shifting and growing, establishing something that will continue to take you away from a kind of personal experience that you, perhaps your family is now expecting or needing or demanding in some way or another. Perhaps your own health is something you have to consider as a result of these opportunities, these options. So often with the Two of Swords, we're not able to see the larger context of a decision we feel pulled to make, a crossroads we're at. And one of the opportunities in the Two of Swords is asking more questions, finding out more, getting more information. In other words, this newer direction that you may be inclined to move towards may be less of a solo effort or less of an individual effort than what you have been carrying all along in a more traditional institutional setting, so that there may be opportunities to share the responsibilities of this new kind of legacy building or creation than you would imagine based on your former role, so that there are more questions, more information you need to find out, more ways that you can connect with others as you look at your own very finite resources. Is this going to take you closer to something that has ultimate significance to you? In the past, we have the Four of Wands, and just about everyone is getting this in the past. This is really, for me, in this situation, about your commitment to learning. And it's interesting because I'm getting the message here that this is not about the kind of institutional learning or employment you've been engaged in, the kind of growth and expansion that perhaps your career, your work is predicated on. This is really more about learning the lessons of your experiences, your social experiences. What have you learned from your relationships, all of your relationships, and how has that overcoming those challenges contributed to a better understanding, a better enabling you to celebrate the growth and the progress that you've made as a person. So the commitment to learning is very personal in this particular instance. It is always associated with community, loved ones, in whatever way you define that. But it's also asking you to commit to learning those same lessons that perhaps you are engaged in your professional life into your personal life. How are you growing? How are you a better partner, parent, or friend? And how can you celebrate the growth of your own growth as well as the growth of others with which you live and work? In the future, the Page of Pentacles. And I'm really in love with pages these days because so many of you have done so much, achieved so much in the world, depending on where you are in your life. But you have contributed to an organizational or institutional effort in a significant way. And you are still looking at contributing in a very public way, a very visible way that faces the world and the need for more resources, showing others how to be prosperous, how to be abundant, how to gain more skills. But this indicates that you too, as you really integrate these desires into your own experience of personal growth, are in a position to learn how to do things differently. And my sense is that you're desiring, as you expand into a kind of legacy building or creation, you're also shrinking and crystallizing a lot of that wisdom into your own individual life. What are the things that hold the greatest abundance on your own terms for you? And how open are you to that experience now that you're secure, now that you're safe, now that you're stable and protected? And you clearly have created resources for others. You've provided for others in very substantial ways. How are you now able to do that for yourself? I'm going to clarify the Queen of Pentacles with the Six of Cups and the Eight of Cups. So interesting. So there's this almost, I'm looking for the words, this intuitive presence in your life that has been stimulated by this recent lunar eclipse. And this was in the sign of Taurus, and it is resonating throughout the month of November. And this intuitive presence in your life is connecting you to positive, happy memories of skills, of joy, of pleasure, of talents that you cultivated and that emerged in your early life, perhaps in your formative years. And these happy memories, it's almost a nostalgia, but it's a way in which you exercised who you were, your natural talents in a non-judgmental environment where there was an element of playfulness, pleasure, and a lot of joy in exercising this. This may be a relationship or a particular opportunity or institution that allowed you to connect with these memories, to cultivate these skills. But now this memory is returning you to a challenge you've yet to mount. You are, because of this intuitive vision that you are gleaning that is reconnecting you to a significant opportunity in your past, you are recognizing how you may have learned all that can be learned from your current situation. And I might add that this current situation is really about the release of a former set of responsibilities or obligations, a role as provider in some ways that you realize that you have fulfilled that. You've accomplished that. You've learned all that can be learned from that. And you're reconnecting with this intuitive vision and challenge that is significant to you, that you do not feel complete without mounting this new challenge that is adheres to this legacy creation, this cultural or ancestral tradition that you are reinventing in many ways. The Ten of Cups is being clarified by the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. There's a strong need for you to hold on to what you have created, to perhaps the inheritance you have gained. You understand that that is the foundation upon which you are building this greater legacy that will generate itself by opening itself up and making itself more available to more people. You also have a lot of doubts, others have expressed a lot of resistance to your development of this particular thing. And part of this is about the kind of work you do. I'm recalling again information that I'm getting around your ability to express yourself, to articulate yourself. If you're a writer, if you're a teacher, if you are in a position to distribute resources to others, there is a lot of resistance to the development of this particular legacy that you have envisioned. And this resistance has always existed, and you have been relatively resolute about your desire to advance this kind of legacy, this ancestral heritage forward. But it has taken a toll on you. You're aware that you must pick your battles, that your own belief in the righteousness of this, not just of its existence in the world, but of it as a portal to your own happiness, to your own opportunity, to kind of a full circle return to an authentic self that could exercise talents and skills in a place that can help you define prosperity and abundance on your own terms. The Two of Swords is clarified by the Seven of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. I'm sensing that there's a lot of institutional reorganization that this transition you're experiencing is about or involves, so that not only are the needs of the organization or institution you've been affiliated with changing, the environment is changing, the need is changing, but also this is overlapping your assessment and evaluation of what you have gained from this. You know you're on the right path. How this is helping you to plan your forward movement in a more efficient and productive way. And part of that is in your ability to continue to explore contacts, networks, allies, colleagues, collaborators, to continue to stretch out and look at models of others who have done similar things, to create an almost like a think tank in order for you to continue to envision this in detail, in the details that are required for you to move ahead, not only with the creation of this legacy, but with the ways in which you are finding your own personal abundance and growth through this, your portal for expansion in terms of your own authentic desires and talents and abilities. I'm hoping that this has been clear for you. This feels like a very intense moment, but an extremely productive one. I'm going to pull a Soul's Journey Oracle card, and out flipped Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. This feels very relevant to your ability to extract the resource, to continue to create this potential new legacy, this new resource in the face of so much ongoing resistance. And at some level, your ability to release perhaps the resentment or anger with which you have held this negative feedback, this kind of overt resistance or put down of your efforts, is essential to you finding the joy that is being unleashed in your pursuit of those things that give you pleasure and allow you to have a personal or a creative growth that you have not been able to find in your commitment, in your provision of services for others. I'm also going to pull a language of the flowers, and out jumps fuchsia, and the key words are true feelings. Within you is all you need to know. I love this. I hope this has been helpful, Virgo. Thank you for a beautiful reading. Until next time, namaste.